Hey guys, it's Red here. Did you miss me? It's been like a whole 24 hours since you saw me. Today I'm going to be reading some r/I do work here lady stories. Read by Red. Are you ready? Let's go. I wasn't cutting in line. Have fun getting arrested. I used to work at a nightclub for many years as a side gig. This club had a lot of pretty diverse events, but every Saturday night was one of the biggest parties in the city. It brought out all the basics in droves. Just your regular young city dwellers or bridge hoppers flocking to get their groove on. This place would get packed, like squeezing through a sardine can packed. So packed that often people couldn't even dance. They just stood smashed up against each other, sort of wiggling a bit. At least back in its heyday. This was not my type of event. I super hate strangers touching me. One of my jobs was to tend to the bathrooms, which surely means in a past life I was likely a baby murderer, given how disgusting that chore was on busy Saturday nights. Honestly, that part of the job alone I have several tales of woe from. There were more than a few bathrooms, and one was a single stall on the top floor. This one always had a line and had the most issues as people liked its privacy to do all sorts of things you can imagine people doing at a raging party. I've seen some things. Anyway, I marched my merry butt up the stairs, fighting a crowd back as best I could to refresh the tiny loo, and as usual there was quite a line. Now, I am not only in uniform with a radio hanging off my butt, cleaning towels, etc., but my arms were full of toilet paper. I tried to communicate to the line as best I could over the blaring music and endless screaming that I needed to go in next so they'd have the ability to wipe if needed. Even though the line was filled with wobbly club goers pretty desperate to use the toilet, they seemed to understand. Except this one chick. She was very basic. Like you'd hire her to stand in as an extra in a Gap commercial. She was young, blonde, and otherwise forgettable, though attractive for sure. She wasn't even dressed up for dancing, just like she walked out of a mall on an average day. Immediately she was irate and started yelling that I couldn't cut the line. This was many years ago, so I don't remember all the vitriol she spewed, but you'd never guess this basic little lady would have a mouth worse than a sailor's. While I'm trying to assure her drunk butt that I'll just be 2 seconds, all I had to do was put down TP and wipe a surface unless someone was actually dead in there, and she isn't even next in line for frick's sake. Then, door opened. I immediately rushed in, and the lady tried to follow me in the single stall bathroom. Excuse me? She's losing her mind, and I'm scared, so I quickly start shutting the door, careful not to close her in at the same time, and lock it. I radio security for help and wait. I'm a coward, so I waited until security gave the all clear to leave. I didn't think anything more about it because clubs are crazy and stuff just happens on the regular. Later I'm outside on a break when, who do I see? Little Miss Basic in handcuffs! She'd been set down on the curb by police, and I'm asked to give a statement of what led up to this 5'5" waif assaulting security. Her friends, a guy and another lady, were standing over her yelling, "Get her out of handcuffs! She didn't do anything!" They weren't around for the incident, at least not that I saw. And she's crying, saying, "I didn't hit anyone!" Sure, Jan. Once I filled in the statement, security told me what she did to them. Once they arrived upstairs at her freaking out on a bathroom door, they tried to calm her down. Those guys were huge, but have a lot of control, and this isn't the kind of club where people get roughed up by staff. Though sometimes that would have been nice. Instead of calming down and listening to reason, she went feral and started hitting them up on their heads mostly, going for their faces, leaving huge scratch near their head of security's eye. She must have been climbing up the 6'+ guy to injure him that way. I never saw that guy injured by anyone in my entire time working there. It took everything in me not to die laughing when they hurled the little lady off for assaulting 2 people. I'm also really glad I got her out of the bathroom before she got me too. Yeah, maybe she wasn't just drinking that night. I think this is the perfect example of it's better to be safe than sorry. Because, yeah, okay, maybe you'll just like stand your ground against this crazy, psycho, basic lady. But you're more likely to get injured. Like, if the security guards got injured, like, come on. I think locking yourself in the bathroom was definitely the right choice here. Okay. Here is the next story. Not a long story. This happened yesterday, and I thought it was funny. For reference, it's a small local shop, and the only two people that work there are me, 20-year-old woman, and my boss, 50-year-old man. I've been working there for over a year now. This lady came up to the counter and said, "You look like the girl who works here." My first thought was, I'd hope so. But what I said was, "Well, I've been working here for over a year now, so..." She responded with, "I must not have seen you before." Now, to be fair, I did just dye my hair, but still, the rest of me looks the same. It's that thing, like, people come in and they don't see you as a person. They see you as, I don't know, like, just part of the store? They don't recognize you as another human being necessarily. Not in, like, intentionally, like, trying to be mean or anything, but it's just like their brain isn't processing you properly. So if something changes, like hair color or like different makeup or different outfit that's like a little, like a big change or something, some people just can't process it. It's really bizarre. Okay, here's the next story. Compilation of me having a minor brain aneurysm every time I have to deal with security. Okay, so I'm an electrician at my local Australian airport. My job takes me across both the international and domestic terminals, and I see so much inconsistency between guards, it's almost criminal some days. I'll give you the highlights because they're essentially the same, but here goes. Time number 1. I've arrived at the domestic terminal and new rules have dictated I go through with the passengers, not the staff entrance. This is because they want to save money by not paying for guards to give staff a separate entrance. Now I've arrived on this day in my motorcycle gear and a laptop bag with my lunch in it, along with my basic stuff like multi-tool keys, belt, etc. Guard working the x-ray. "Are you flying out tonight?" I looked down at my motorcycle jacket, helmet and gloves, then rather pointedly at my security ID. "Yeah mate, off to Perth tonight, gotta earn those mining dollars." "Well, I'm confiscating your whole bag, it's full of contraband." "Are you kidding me? What an F-knuckle rides a motorcycle to an airport with the intention of flying out? Obviously I work here." "Hey, you don't get smart with me." "You need to be smarter. If I was a compliance officer, you'd have lost your job until you got retrained." Supervisor seeing that this might get heated. "I'll take it from here." We go off and fill in the required paperwork for my tools and laugh about the incident. Time 2. I've been out at a job in the non-security screen side. I have my tool bag, walkie-talkie, ID and spare parts box. Self-important guard walks up, tapping my bag. "There better not be any tools in there. They're banned up there." I stare incredulously directly into his eyes. "Matey, there's nothing but tools in there."
"You can't take..."
"Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea I wasn't compliant."
"How could you not have known that you couldn't bring tools through?"
"I had no idea that my security ID was not clearly displayed on my torso as per regulation. I had no idea that the tools, parts and walkie-talkie was not a giveaway that I worked here and that you should be looking for it. I'll try harder next time. Maybe I'll carry a neon arrow pointing towards it."
"Oh, I didn't realize you worked here."
Last one. Just taking through my lunch bag and other basic kit. Guard has already whisked away my multi-tool to sign in, but rescans my lunch bag, then proceeds to scrutinize my keys, which are in a fishnet webbing on the side of the bag. God's sake, woman. They're keys.
What is so dangerous about keys? I don't know if dealing with security that way is necessarily the best thing, but yeah, clearly there needs to be more training done with security at that airport because that's hilarious. Well, I hope you all enjoyed those r/I do work here lady stories, read by Red. That's me. Please give the video a like if you did enjoy them, and don't forget to subscribe as well, and watch some more stories if you feel like it. I just hit the wall. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a good rest of your day.